Imagine two criminals, we'll call them A and B, are arrested. The police believe the two were trying to rob a bank, but the only evidence proven is that they were trespassing. The criminals were taken into custody, each put into a different jail cell. The police gave each prisoner a choice, to confess or stay silent. Here's the catch. If prisoner A and prisoner B stay silent, they'll both have to spend 1 year in jail. If both confess their crimes, then they'll both serve 5 years. But if prisoner A stays silent while prisoner B confesses, prisoner A spends 10 years in jail, and prisoner B spends 0. If prisoner B stays silent while prisoner A confesses, prisoner B spends 10 years in jail, and prisoner A spends 0. So which do they choose? By comparing the possible outcomes of each action, they'll see that the only way to be completely sure that they won't spend 10 years in jail is to confess. This is an example of something called the game theory.
Game theory is a compelling concept which draws in subjects such as maths, social sciences, behavioral sciences, and biology. Game theory is the study of strategic interactions between people and how they come to the ideal decision. A game, in the case of this video, is defined as an interaction between two or more individuals or players, where the actions of one individual affects the other choices of the other. This can be applied to a game of chess, rock, paper, scissors, shoot, or even the game of life. Evolution happens through a process called natural selection. Now, natural selection is where members of a species that have more desirable traits end up living longer and want to pass their traits on by reproduction. Now let's take a look at how game theory fits into all of this.
By logic, optimal strategies allow for greater survival rates. When we consider situations such as the animal kingdom, these strategies are split up into two parts, standard and evolutionary. Standard strategies require players to act rationally, choosing their actions based on greatest payoffs or success. Just like the prisoner's dilemma that we mentioned earlier, each prisoner had to weigh their options to calculate the choice of highest payoff and least risk.
However, most animals don't weigh their survival options with this logical value matrix. They use the second strategy, the evolutionary strategy. Instead, their survival and success rates are determined by natural selection. Take, for example, an imaginary population of rabbits, where some are competitors and some are cooperators. Through the interaction between animals, games, we find that those who are more aggressive keep the resources for themselves. They are then able to grow and achieve the greatest evolutionary payoff, reproduction of species. This allows the competitor, or defector type, to become the most successful and would allow for the extinction of the cooperator type. But fortunately, for our systems of evolution, this is not completely the case. In reality, strategies are always changing and adjusting for optimal survival in a never-ending game. Therefore, the cooperative rabbits could form new strategies of finding food without being bullied by their competitors.
The main question that biologists consider when looking at the evolutionary game theory is, how do these trends of cooperation or competition progress and evolve through time, and what are the ideal strategies each species use to result in the highest payoffs of this never-ending game of survival? In conclusion, game theory is an important concept that lays the foundation for scientists understanding human behavior, animal behavior, and even evolution. Using scientific data analysis, scientists can use evolutionary game theory to analyze past trends and strategies so they can eventually predict the way the traits of a species will evolve. We could be able to infer where humans came from and even how we might change in the coming millennia.
Last one.
Is the computer different?
Members of a species. Okay.
A confesses, prisoner B.
Last one.
Sorry, it's like
How we might change in the coming...
That's fine. Okay. Evolution happens through a process. Ooh. Okay.
Without being bullied by their competitors.